Alright, this is Joe A again. A while back I made a video when I install or when I when I installed this E63 diffuser on my E400, which it came with the chrome tailpipes. Unfortunately though, when I did the video, I didn't know how to edit video, so I didn't know how to attach several videos together, so I couldn't be as detailed as I wanted. So that's why I'm doing this like part 2 of this right here. Now what I want to show is the screws underneath and how I removed this diffuser, the old diffuser, without removing the bumper. Okay, so this is the new diffuser. It was custom painted. Okay, so when I was gonna remove the old diffuser initially had a rivet right there, okay, and another rivet right over here where this other screw is, right there, okay. With a drill bit, I carefully drill out the hole of the rivet so the rivet would just drop off. Now this one right here was a really pain in the butt to do, so I kind of had to carefully with a small drill bit keep working at it on the head at an angle, because there isn't much room in here to be able to remove this rivet that was here. Now to install this new diffuser, I instead went with these screws right there, okay, with a bolt, with that instead. And over here I use a little bracket, this bracket here with a screw. I got these at Park Rose Hardware. And then once I install these screws, I cover them with clear coat, brush a little bit of clear coat on to keep them from rusting. Okay, so that's how I did that. Now for the bracket, right here, this is a T25. That screw right there is a T25. Okay, you have to loosen that up. There's one over there. There's one on this side over here too. That right there. Okay. And then you'll have to use a 10mm socket for, let's see if I can get it at an angle. That right there, that bolt right there. So you can loosen the, release it from the bracket, okay? That's a 10mm. Now once you do the left side of the rear vehicle, you'll do the right side of the rear vehicle. There's that screw, but on the old diffuser you'll have a rivet, so you have to drill that out. Okay. There's that screw that I put in instead of the rivet on the new diffuser. And then one thing I wanted to point out, this car has a hands-free release for the trunk. That long, that thing you see right here, that's a sensor. It's like an antenna, goes all the way across on this bracket right here. Okay, you'll have to use this one of the pieces of the old diffuser bracket. Once you take the old diffuser apart and you compare with the new diffuser, it'll all make sense. You'll need to use one of the brackets of the old diffuser for the sensor, this long sensor. Right here, I also want to point something out really quick. Right in here, right here is where the module is located. You see these see all these cables? This is the module that controls the release for the trunk, the hands-free release for the trunk. Okay. So you kind of disconnect it, and the antenna stays hanging in there, but the module, I believe, comes out, and that will be put on the new diffuser. So and that's that's practically about it on the bottom side. Now once you have loosened all those screws, those screws and bolts underneath it, like I showed earlier, and remove the tailpipe, then you'll start removing the diffuser by using a plastic trim tool, you know, and carefully start prying and work yourself on one corner at a time. You know, you can either start on the left side or the right side. I started on the left side. Most important thing is when you're pulling this diffuser off the bumper, be very careful not to break one of the tabs of the bumper, okay? Because if you do, you know, I was being very careful not to break one, because if I did, I would be screwed, okay? So you start at one end carefully with a plastic trim tool. You start pulling, and then once one end starts is released, the rest will come off really easy, and it just pops right out like so. You know, it'll just pop right out all the way down. Okay, it's that easy. Okay, and then you pop the new diffuser in. You install a new diffuser in reverse order, and you can use rivets if you want underneath, like I showed earlier. I use screws because rivets are a pain in the ass, so that's why I use screws. So these are the screws that I used to replace the rivets with, as I mentioned earlier in the previous video. This is the one that goes on the inside with the little bracket, like I showed in the video, and this one goes right underneath the diffuser that gets hooked up to the bumper. This one's a torque. Okay, it doesn't have to be a torque. It could be a Phillip if you prefer. Like this one right here. This is a Phillip that goes to this little bracket here. And then once, like I mentioned earlier, once I install these, I coated them with clear coat. But you don't have to use these type. You can use a stainless steel as well, you know, so they won't get rusted out. I prefer to go with these because they're black, and it kind of goes with the bumper, color of the bumper. But I went this route because rivets is a real pain in the butt, and especially to put a rivet where this one goes, it's really hard. There's hardly no room back in there, so that's why I use this instead. I hope this video helps. Fellow viewer out there that has a car like mine, it's E400, and wants to do the same thing. You do not have to remove the bumper. You do not have to. It took me about an hour and a half, around there, to install the new diffuser. We'll remove the old diffuser and install a new diffuser. It took me about an hour and a half. So just patience, and that's it.